Hello everyone, how are you? My name is Órla and I tell stories. Sometimes I write stories down. Today I'm going to tell you a story. And maybe my friend Sinead, who's over there having a cup of tea, will play underneath the story on her fiddle. Wouldn't that be nice? She's had a piece of cake, so she might play as well. This is a story from long, long ago. Many years ago, people said there used to be an island off the west coast of Ireland. This was an island that was very mysterious. People said that if you looked at the old maps, you could see this island. It's not there anymore. People say it was maybe Tirnanog, the land of the young. Other people say it was called High Brazil. Now, what happened to this island? Nobody knows. Some people say a giant wave came and knocked it into the sea. Other people say it was a volcano that exploded and it sank down beneath the waves. We'll never know though, will we? But we might find out. Once there was a lion. His realm was the kingdom of fire. An island in the middle of the sea. And in the middle of this island was a tall and powerful volcano. And out of the top were plumes of smoke and sparks that flew up into the air. The lion had 2 glowing coals for eyes, and he had a powerful roar. It was like the sound of the volcano itself, except dipped in honey. The lion's mane was made of flickering flame, bursts of orange and red and gold all around his face. He was the most beautiful creature that anyone had ever seen. And well, he knew it. Every day he would walk down to the shore to admire his kingdom and admire his own reflection in the water. He would stand at the edge of the sea and he would look into the waves. And you know what? The fish themselves would pop up for a look at his beautiful sight. Well, this one particular day, the lion was walking down to the edge of his kingdom, walking along the shore, when all of a sudden he spotted something out at sea. What was it? It was the most beautiful creature that he had ever seen. It was a mermaid. Her skin was the colour of the first cream of the milk. Her hair was the colour of the patch of forest where the sunlight streams in. Her eyes were like 2 twinkling blue stars in the sky. And she sat there brushing her hair, brushing, and she looked up and she saw the lion. And their eyes met, and there was a spark in the air. Well, he was the most beautiful creature that she had ever seen, and she wanted nothing more at that moment but to give him a big kiss on the lips. And the lion looked at her and she looked at him, and the mermaid reached out her hand like this and beckoned him to come in to the water. Well, the lion began to walk very slowly, one paw after another paw, after another paw, into the water to swim to the mermaid. But as he did, he happened to glance down, and he noticed his own reflection in the water. He noticed his mane of flickering flame, and he realised that if he got his mane wet, it would be an ordinary mane, just like any other lion, and he would be just like any other lion, and he would no longer be the most beautiful creature that anyone had ever seen. But he looked at the mermaid and he lifted his paw as if to walk. But he turned and began to walk back towards the shore. Well, as he did, a moment passed and there was a great cracking sound. And that was the sound of the mermaid's heart breaking in two. And this sound was so sad and so powerful that it travelled down, 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 down underneath the waves. And it rose up, 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 up in the form of a great tidal wave. And the lion turned around and he saw this wave coming and he started to run towards the shore, but he couldn't outrun it, and the wave came over him and then splash! The wave not only quenched his mane, but it ripped it right off his head. And he was left standing there as bald as an egg. Well, he looked around to see where the mermaid was, and he watched as she disappeared underneath the waves, followed only by her own salty tears. "I'm sorry," he said. But it was too late. She was gone. And he hung his head and he walked back to the shore. And he vowed that from that day on, he would look for the mermaid. He would look in every sea, in every ocean. And when he found her, he would tell her that he loved her and that he had made the wrong decision. Well, what about the lion's mane? Well, it floated out into the sea, out into the water. And out there it began to separate into dozens and hundreds and thousands and millions of little pieces. And each piece became a living creature. And these creatures washed up on shores all around the world, even on the west of Ireland. And if you're walking on the shore in your bare feet, you have to be very careful, because if you stand on one of these little creatures, ow! You'll feel the sting, and that's the sting of the mermaid's broken heart, still trapped after all these years. And we have a name for these creatures. We still call them the lion's mane, or the lion's mane jellyfish. But what about the king himself? What happened to him? Well, every day he swims north and south and east and west looking for the mermaid. And his voice is still powerful, but it's rough. It's been made rough by the salt of the sea. And to keep up his strength, he needs to eat lots of fish to keep his body warm when he swims in the cold water. So he's grown round and smooth. And if you come across him on the beach, he'll growl because he's grumpy, because he hasn't found his mermaid that day. And his head is still as bald as an egg, as still as bald as the day when he lost his mane. We've different names for him in different countries. In France, they call him Lion de Mer. In Irish, we call it a Lion Arrogant. And in English, of course, it's the Lion of the Sea, or the Sea Lion, still searching every day for his mermaid. And I hope sometime that he finds her. Thank you for listening.